Hi, everybody. Scribbler Johnny checking in really quick before we continue Princess of Crows. One of the big conflicts that I had as I was writing the series and thinking about it was the very complicated thoughts and feelings I have about Lilia the Rusalka. Now, she, like every grown person, especially one who's been alive for centuries, is a complex person who is shaped by their life's experiences. And as such, her sexuality is also complicated. She has been identifying as a lesbian for a long time, but in her past, she was attracted to men and even married a man. And her relationship with him was so terrible that for a long time she did not want any relationships um, with men. And then her relationship with Mike grows and develops throughout the course of Princess of Crows. And there have been several characters who think that she is attracted to Mike and in love with him, and then she admits it. She confesses her feelings, and my um, one of my alpha readers really did not like this change in Lilia's character, um, and her views were fair, and it was largely not to do anything with Lilia's character arc, but more just that she was sort of exhausted by the fact that everyone kept falling in love with Mike. And I get that. I fully do, which is part of the point because we are here mocking the tropes of the harem stories. Sure, Mike's a nice guy. He's brave. He's loyal. He's kind hearted. He's not hideous. He treats people well. He's flawed, but he's certainly not an asshole or a monster. So it's reasonable to find him likable. And in a harem story, that's all you really need. And then all these vastly more interesting and more attractive characters come along and they fall in love with him. And that's the point. And, but I was judging myself a bit harshly because I was sitting there asking myself, why could I not leave Lilia alone? Why couldn't she stay a lesbian who was friends with Mike and just treat him as a friend? And the choice was not done with any mind to be harmful or insulting to queer women. And it was not with any kind of erasure in mind. And I want to make that clear. I am a gay and trans ally. I am a queer ally. I want everyone to have a place at my table. But this is a harem parody. So, of course, Lilia falls in love with Mike. That is one of the biggest and most common straight dude fantasies is for a lesbian to just fall in love with you and say, "Oh, You are just such an incredible man that my inclinations have shifted. And it's a very juvenile and shallow fantasy. It is. And every man with a scrap of introspection regarding himself and his sexuality will recognize their juvenile fantasies for what they are, regardless of their orientations. We all have juvenile fantasies when we're juvenile, and we usually grow out of them as real life starts to take its toll on us. But it is what it is. It's there, it's part of the story, and it does not define Lilia as a person. It does not limit her as a character. It is just part of the story just as much as every other woman in the story has her part to play in what she does as a separate individual person. And if Lilia falling in love with Mike did surprise or hurt you, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any harm. But as I am reading these stories as they were written, um, bear in mind that I did have a struggle with this, and if I was able to do edits and revisions, I would have changed the text and revised things so that instead of falling in love with Mike, Lilia would in fact um, remain his platonic friend, and their friendship would have just been a strong friendship. It was a change I wanted to make, but I am reading these first drafts and putting them on YouTube as they are, warts and all. And if my health ever changes and I am able to do edits and revisions, the final draft will be different. But these are what they are. They are my gift to you. We now continue, Princess of Crows. Only I know how to love you correctly, because we got to really know each other, and we didn't have sex, she added, and she lay down beside him. She took his hand. I want you, Mike. Do you want me? He interlocked his fingers with hers. I love you too, he said, and he tried to kiss her, but she stopped him. I kiss you, she said. You don't kiss me until we make love in the water. Won't I die? You'll have to trust me, she said. I could say no, just have safe sex with all these women who won't freeze my blood or fill my lungs with water, he said, his voice getting hard. Didn't I pass the damned test? She touched his lips. Mike, please be patient. Lunch? She asked. So they walked hand in hand to the Big Top Cafe, which was a sidewalk cafe, just as Lilia had said. What she had neglected to mention was that all of the waitstaff, men and women, were topless, and they wore name stickers. Is this legal? Mike asked. Only in this city. Anywhere else in this state, not a chance. Of course, a naturist like her would like it here. The food was good, and Mike could smell her perfume finally. She smelled of mint and clover. As they ate, they talked about Tessa and mourned her loss. And Mike finally let out all of his grief, holding Lilia's hand. Her hand was cool, not cold. It was a comfort to him. I liked her. We could have been friends, he said. She would say that you already were friends, Lilia replied. Mike nodded. Yeah, she loved me, the poor woman. Tessa was a person with no guile or ulterior motives, Lilia added. They toasted her, glad to have been her friends. So about Echo, will she want to be with us both, do you think? Mike asked. Probably. But I can put my foot down if you want, Lilia replied. Mike pondered this. Would he actually refuse a gorgeous nymph who graciously allowed him to date her girlfriend? The notion felt downright ungentlemanly, though he was already stretched thin. He took a deep breath. If Echo wants to share you with me together, I can't refuse her that. I don't want to mess up your relationship with her, Mike said. That's why I love you. You didn't say, woo-hoo, I get a nymph too. You said, I value your relationship with your girlfriend. And then Lilia said something in Slavic. At his confused expression, the Rusalka repeated in English. I value you above jewels, because you value me so much. And Mike's heart burned. I knew you wanted to know that. I cherish you in my life, Mikhail, my best buddy. Lilia paid for their meal and she led him home. I'll take you to work with me one of these nights. Show you what being a party planner and club promoter is all about in the big city. She smiled at him. Show you off to all my lesbian friends so you can meet more women who will not try to seduce you. Mike grinned. I think I'd like that, he admitted. I went from being mostly ignored to totally ignored to the hot item overnight. I haven't been able to cope. I'm not good looking and I don't have a huge dick, so I just do not get it. Not all the yokai have the low birth rate problem, or is that just an excuse? Is fucking a human some fetish? Lilia shrugged. I'm not a yokai, so I can't tell you about yokai. From what I've observed, it must be some holdover from the old days when yokai preyed on humans in different ways, stealing souls, stealing hybrid children, stealing food and fully human children, raping, all that kind of thing. Just total predation. They have this cultural indoctrination to get humans. So it's basically a fetish. What do you think of Maymay? Well, she's ours now, so I have to like her and allow her access to you, but until I get my time with you, I will hate her for getting you before me. Oh no. Well, she really wants to tell you what getting fucked by me is like, he said, feeling awkward. If she does, I will slap her right in her panda face and turn her stupid braids into icicles. She doesn't braid her hair, Mike replied. She was braiding it when we left. Your eyes were on me, though. I liked that. I really like it when you look at me. Mike frowned. Does that mean anything? How should I know? They reached home. Inside, sure enough, May's hair was in two low braids. She was wearing that dress from that morning, and she had her panda ears, and they twitched happily. Welcome home, little brother. I have a job moving heavy things for the princess. Welcome home, big sister Lilia. Can we talk later? She said all of it in one breath. I do not want to discuss what you did this morning, but I will talk to you about other things, Lilia replied. May's face fell. Oh, okay. I thought you'd like to know what you'd been missing out on, so that maybe you would tell little brother Mike how you really feel about him. If that's not okay, then I won't say anything. She gave a shy smile at the Rusalka. Lilia nodded. Every woman in this household knows intimately what I've been missing out on. They earned it. You, on the other hand, I don't know how you got him to fuck you. And then she stormed away, fuming. Little brother loves me. He said so. We knocked each other out in Oregon. And I killed for him. I killed for him before you did. Mean Ice Queen, I tried to be your friend. Smiling Mountain shouted as she walked away. And then May began to cry. Why is she so mean to me? I was helping. Mike gently took her hand. She's been denying her feelings for some time, and knowing that everyone else was loving me freely, she still feels raw about it. She's not mean most of the time. Give her space and you can still be friends, I'm sure, Mike said. Can't we hug it out? I think she needs time to process how things have gone. One of her close friends died recently, Mike explained. May nodded, and then she gave him a hug and walked away to disappear in the hallway. She didn't poof, she was just gone. Mike shook his head and tapped gently on Lilia's door. She invited him in. Lily, are you okay, Devachka? He asked. She shook her head, sitting on her bed. She was still wearing his beret, but she had taken off all of the other clothing. She blinked her reddened eyes and she said, You understand I had my reasons? She asked. Yeah, I know enough to understand. I couldn't love you. You were Kurama's. Then you were Hildy's, and Whisper's, and Fushin's, and then that slut Shizu, and I could not believe all of these women were stealing you from me. They didn't even notice. Lilia wiped her eyes with her fingers. Meanwhile, my relationship suffered, she continued. And I was happy being your buddy. But I wanted you to wrap me in those strong arms and feel your hairy chest on my skin. But I prefer women. But I remembered my old husband. It wasn't always bad with him, just most of the time. Mike kept his mouth shut and listened, letting her get it all out. Now, when the war was supposed to be ending, the damn Tanuki pull this shit. And so we retaliate, and it feels so futile. I don't want to lose you. Mike sat beside her, and the Rusalka threw her arms around him. She did not begin crying anew. She just held him. Mike, she groomed you for this. She waited years, watching you grow, cutting your ties to the human world. I wasn't supposed to fall in love with you, she blurted. I know already, Mike soothed. She blinked. What? How? She'd never tell you. Neither would Whisper. Hildy crowned me with the bays, knowledge beyond my own. Oh, anything about me? Just a glimpse of your wedding day, he admitted. Oh, she became embarrassed. It was like 200 years ago. I'm not that woman anymore. He nodded. So, I'm sorry I was mean to your panda. She didn't deserve that. You should tell her that yourself. She'll forgive you and want to hug it out. I bet her hugs are nice, like yours. She gave him a kiss on the cheek then. Please don't neglect your duties anymore. Off with you." She kissed him on the lips. It was a kiss full of goodbye for now. So he left. And he felt very addled. He found himself walking to Kurama's room and invited himself in. "Kurama, I wonder what we're doing today," he said, and then he paused. She was writing, using an ink brush. "Close the door. Were you born in a barn?" she said without looking up. He closed it behind him. "What is it you're writing?" he asked. "My next novel," she explained. "What's it called?" "The Tale of Maikaru." "The Tale of Michael?" "Yes. A common soldier wins the love of many supernatural women to go on to marry his true love, the Tengu Queen." "Ah, so," Mike replied. "I'm going to publish it as Murasaki Shikibu." "Seems only fitting," she replied. "Right, because you wrote the tale of Genji," Mike said. She blushed. "Yes, I shared it with a friend, and she told her friend she had written it. Then it became very popular in the courts of women, some of the men. Now, now that embarrassing, cheesy romance is a fucking literary classic. I only wanted it to be something for the entertainment of my friends, not shared with all of Japan." Mike nodded as she put her brush into a bowl full of water. She held up the paper to dry. "So you knew Hikari Genji, didn't you?" Mike asked. "I knew a Tengu prince named Hikaru once. He was skilled in the martial arts and a fantastic poet. He saw the woman that I would be one day, and he took me into his household and waited for me to blossom before taking me as his mistress." She looked him in the eye. "Do you understand?" she demanded, holding the paper up to read. Holding the paper up. He leaned and read it. Michael was not beautiful, nor was he particularly brilliant. He was a nobody, going nowhere, waiting for his turn to die when she seduced him. The princess was famously ugly and hated. She believed he was her true love. She'd watched him grow, you see. After burying his beloved cat, Michael had nothing left but memories, and they weren't good ones." He nodded and then said, "You were Murasaki. I'm your Murasaki," he said. She nodded and set the paper down. "After you die, your story will be my gift to the world that never loved you. I will go to my grave, showing it the mistake it had made." "100 years," Mike replied. She nodded. "I won't outlive you by much. I've spent too long sustained by hatred. Love will set me free, and I'll die happy having earned the love of an honest man." She smiled, but it was sad. He walked forward to kiss her, and she stood to meet him. "I loved you from the moment your time began. I knew you when you dreamed of a mother holding you. When your mother, who was a dreamer herself, held you. I was there, and I knew I was yours. Your uncle was so jealous, but what could Roy do? You carried his name, so part of him lived on in you," Kurama said. "How did Uncle Roy die?" Mike asked. "He cheated on me with a Naga princess. He died of natural causes." Mike shuddered. "You ate his eyes, didn't you?" "Of course I ate his fucking eyes!" she shrieked. "Roy broke my heart. He could have simply asked my permission, but no. He insulted me by going behind my back to fuck a snake. A snake, Mike. Her pain flashed in her eyes. An egg-eating snake. Mike was terrified of her anger, but he held her. And then she wept bitterly. I had to kill him. What choice did I have? His love wasn't strong enough, and he was a pervert. He wasn't pure like you. He was twisted and evil like me. You're my redemption, Maikaru. She clenched his shirt. Soon the war will be over, and we can have our own happy ending. Together, standing on top of my mountain to watch the sun set as king and queen. She pulled him down for a kiss. Go, work out, get stronger. I need you strong enough to crush my enemies. Mike nodded and he went to lift weights and to do some practicing with Regicide. Shizu, Mei Mei, and Hildy gathered to watch him. Your strange Chinese weapon is quite amazing, Shizu said. Mike bowed, and then his exertions overwhelmed him, and he sat down hard. He felt like he should have been more recovered by that point. Surely the poison was completely free of his system and hadn't caused further damage, hadn't it? Mei Mei was concerned by this, and she sat in front of him asking what was wrong. Breathing heavily, Mike explained about the poison. Betako poisoned her vagina after an agreement had been signed? Mei Mei was appalled. Yeah, that's why we hate her, Hildy chimed in. So you've been weakened the whole time I've known you? Mei Mei asked. Mike nodded. At your full strength, you must be formidable, she remarked. Not half as strong as you, Mike said. Mei Mei smiled and blushed. I already love you, little brother. You don't need to flatter me. Shizu left to resume some work, or at least used as an excuse. Hildy said, I'm sorry I can't heal you. Mike nodded. Not even Fushin can. It's all right, Mike said. Hildy lowered her skull. I know someone who can help you. I don't like talking to her, she said. Who? Who can help little brother? Mei Mei demanded. And why didn't you ask her days ago? Hildy stared the panda down. I have my reasons. It is not for a lack of love for our Michael, she explained. Who is it? Will I like her? Mike asked. Hildy looked at him, but indirectly. She loves humans. Your ancestors worshipped her in one aspect or another. I'm certain you'll like her. I call her Ostara. Never heard of her. Easter. She's Easter. Mike imagined chocolate rabbits and candy eggs. Ever wonder why a Christian holiday has so many pagan trappings? Hildy asked. Mike shrugged. He'd never thought deeply about religion, much at all. The eggs, the rabbits, death and rebirth, all of that springtime stuff. It's all her. Easter, Hildy explained. She and I don't get along well. I'm more cerebral and she's more physical. She's all beauty and pleasant things, and I'm knowledge and nightmares. Will she help me? Mike asked. I'm certain she will. She has a price she'll demand. Nothing worthwhile is free. Okay, Get ready, Hildy said, and she stood up to go. Mike helped Maymay to her feet, and she hugged him. She continued to hold him, inhaling his scent. She kissed his neck. I feel like I love you so much that I lose my strength when I touch you. I become helpless, Maymay said. I've never felt this way before, little brother. I'm frightened and excited at the same time. How do you feel about me? Mike was nervous about having this talk. Smiling Mountain, I have tender feelings for you. I feel safe with you and very relaxed. Your strength and your softness, your love, you are so tender with me. I know that you'll never hurt me. Is that enough of an answer? She squeezed him. To you, I am always Big Sister or Maymay. Don't call me Smiling Mountain. I'm always your Maymay. Mike kissed her forehead. Doesn't Maymay mean sister? Yes, but I'm your special sister. I will never get married and leave you. I'll stay with you forever. But, Maymay, don't you want children? If they aren't yours, I don't want them. Pandas. No wonder they were endangered. Mike pulled away. I'll go with you, she said, and grabbed an iron-bound club from a weapons rack. Her jest transformed into a more combat-appropriate tunic and loose pants. She rested the club on her shoulder. I'll protect you. Mike nodded, and she followed him into his bedroom. He just accepted her presence and took a shower. He didn't expect that she would reach through the curtain and scrub his back. Your shower's too small. I can't fit in there, so we have to make do, okay, little brother? He had to laugh. Shizu might get jealous. Oh, are you ticklish? Maymay asked. I can tickle you or touch your thing. We can do all sorts of fun things. No, just washing, please, big sis. Okay. She sounded disappointed. I'm sore down there, but we can still play if you want it. No, thank you. Why don't you want me? Shizu said you like fat women. I do, but we have important things to do. All right, but I'll do it if you ever want it, okay? Anytime. I'll be good to you. Mike nodded and shampooed his hair. I believe you, but what I want for you is to do what you want. Maymay giggled. I want to kill my little brother's enemies and have lots of his babies. Mike jumped. Is that what you want most of all? Well, I have a dream, but you must keep it secret. What is it? Promise. It's a secret. Only you and me. I promise. She moved her head into the shower stall. I don't want to say it to all those pictures of the. Ah! She screamed and recoiled. Yeah, the princess wanted to make a point, Mike explained. She's so flexible. Ah, yeah. But so skinny, too. Are you sure you're in love with her? She has no boobies at all. Mine look big compared to hers. Mike rinsed his hair. I keep telling you there's nothing wrong with your boobs. I like them just fine. Yes, I am in love with her, and we're going to get married. Oh, will you still want me when you're her husband? She asked sadly. Sister forever. You said it yourself. Right. So, about my secret dream, Mike hummed agreement. I want to be a painter. Mike finished rinsing his body off and turned off the cold water. Painter is a good thing. Paint. I give you my full support. Maymay made a sound of distress. Like it's that easy. I'm not any good. I just want to be. Mike hugged her. You're still wet, naughty little brother, she protested. But she hugged and kissed him again and again. Keep my secret. I'm embarrassed. Take classes, Mike urged. It's the way to get better. Maymay kissed him again. Can't we just live in the country and have lots of babies? I'll paint just for you. How about it? No princesses, no war, no fighting or teachers. Mike squeezed her as best as he was able. Maymay is fierce, not frightened. Maymay will crush my enemies. Maymay will paint and paint and paint and become good, he insisted. Okay, I'll take a class, but just because you're being a dick about it. Mike tickled her. She collapsed into his arms, giggling. I do love you, she said. No one loves me but you. Seems to be my superpower, he replied, and then he grabbed a towel. Maymay snatched the towel and dried him. You don't dry yourself. You have a Maymay, she chided. Then she sighed and held him from behind. Do you realize how beautiful and perfect you are, Mike? No, I'm neither of those. You are because you're mine. So hard and strong and hairy, and this is nice too, she said, groping him. We have to go, Mike insisted, but he still leaned into her as his body responded to her touch. You don't really want to go yet, she whispered into his ear. Her warm breath on his ear drove him to distraction. Oh, he's really awake now, she gasped. Maymay, please, we have to go heal my body, he whispered, fighting against himself. She released him. Fine, but you can never deny that Maymay has what you want. I never have. She nodded curtly and walked out of the bathroom. She closed the door. He looked at the Kurama pictures, smiling at him. I'm not made of stone, he said. He dressed in his bedroom, while Maymay sprawled on his bed, which had reverted to its previous size. He isn't going back to sleep, she teased. He doesn't make the decisions, Mike said gruffly as he tucked his penis into his pants. Yet Maymay is right here, ready and willing. We have to visit a goddess of spring. Maybe she'll demand that as payment. Did you think of that? Mike asked, a bit more harshly than he'd wanted. After all, Maymay shouldn't be blamed for loving him. She was just different. No, I didn't think. I'm sorry I'm so stupid, little brother. She rolled away from him and curled up into a ball. He felt like a heel. He finished dressing in a polo shirt and slacks, yellow above black, and he touched her back. You aren't stupid. Never say that, he said softly. I love my big sister. She snuffled. But you said no, and I kept pressing the issue. I'm a jerk. He patted her. I forgive you. Let's go. She rolled over and stood up to retrieve the club. Okay, somebody has to protect you, she said, all trace of her self-loathing gone. Hildy was wearing a sun hat and a sundress to match. What's the idea with your panda carrying a weapon? She asked. This is Easter we're talking about. No weapons. How do we know we won't need weapons? Maymay demanded. Because I said so. Ostara is not a violent goddess. She's a healer. She's the goddess of new beginnings. Put that club away if you want to come. Maymay put the club back on the rack in the dojo. Hildy watched her go. I must discourage picking up strays, she said. Yeah, but she's special, though. She's a misfit like the rest of us. Hildy nodded. So be it, she said. You be nice, Mike insisted. Yes, my love, Hildy agreed. And by then Maymay was back. Since he won't need protection, Are you certain you want to insist on coming along? Hildy asked. I want to be with him, Maymay said. What if I insist on having alone time? Then you will get it. You outrank me, Maymay said. Then please stay here. Don't let Shizu steal any more of Mike's underwear when she does the laundry, Hildy asked. Maymay nodded. I will guard his clothes. Mike thanked her. Hildy took Mike's hand. Her bones were warm. Close your eyes, she said. Mike did, and felt as if he had been flipped upside down. In a way, he had. His eyes opened, and he saw pools of steaming water and untamed wilderness all around, except for some Land Rovers and some people sitting in one of those pools. They were all wearing swimsuits, and one woman stood out. She had very thick chestnut brown hair, freckles, and eyes the color of sapphires, and very large breasts. Mike's eyes all but popped out. That's her, Ostara, Hildy said. Mike nodded, and they walked to the pool. Hello, strangers. Feel free to join us, but the water's very hot, the brunette said. No, thank you, Easter. We do need your help, though, Hildy said. Hilda, I am willing to help how I can, but you must know I'm not the goddess I used to be, Easter replied. The other people seemed oblivious to them in their conversation, having one of their own. They're going to be having group sex soon, Easter said. Want to watch? No thanks, Mike replied. I have been poisoned through intimate contact. Can you repair the damage my body suffered? He asked. Ostara floated out of the water to stand upon the surface. She was taller than he'd expected. She looked him over. Your heart, your kidneys, your poor penis, your liver, and your pancreas, too, she said. She looked at him until he looked her in the eye. It can be healed, but there is a cost. Mike nodded. Nothing worthwhile is free. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch, she agreed. She floated to where they waited, and when she stood upon the grass, flowers grew spontaneously near her feet. I require you to call out my name the next time you make love. Do not wear a condom. Your seed will belong to me. Say my name and give it as an offering to me. Are we agreed? Mike thought, what if the next time I make love is when Kurama is ready for her eggs to be fertilized? That is a chance that you must accept, Ostara insisted. Mike nodded. I agree to the terms as stated. She smiled. Do you think that I would try to dirty deal you? Me? I'm one of the nice goddesses. They sealed their bargain in a handshake, and then Easter lay her hands on his belly. Now things will become very unpleasant very soon. Face west, she ordered, and then grunted in frustration at his blank stare. That way, she said, pointing, and then his guts churned. He fell to his knees and vomited. Hideous, black fluid poured out of his mouth. Easter handed him a canteen. Rinse, gargle, spit. Do not swallow, she said. Mike tasted mint tea, but he obeyed. The black liquid began to rapidly evaporate. You're better than ever. I have renewed you, my boy, she said. Mike stood to thank her, and Easter gave him a hug. It's all right now. I love you, humans. You have so much potential to create and to repair and find what's been lost. So tell me, what has Hilda promised you? She asked after she released him. Hilda has promised only to love me, and she has kept that promise. Liar, Ostara said. She promised you, let's see, world travel. Nice. Mike admitted he could remember Hildy talking about seeing the world and living like a sultan on her money. He nodded. You'll be a king, but not by her bony hand. Interesting. You have a rather rare heart, Ostara said, studying him. The people climbed out of the pool and began stripping out of their swimsuits. That's our cue to go home, Mike said. Ostara waved and turned to watch the orgy. Fail to keep your promise and you will never have another orgasm. You will want it so bad, but never, ever will you come. Don't cross me, Ostara warned. Mike agreed. Hildy gave him a hug, and then they were back in her bedroom. Where was that? Mike asked, sitting down. New Zealand. She loves the weather there, Hildy replied. Ugh, whatever you do, don't call me bony like she did. She knows I hate it, and I hate her huge boobs, too. And then she caressed his cheek. I know it's early still, but do you want to make love? You can give your offering to Easter before you have a chance to forget about it. Hildy opened her closet and pulled out a sex toy. It looked for all things like a disembodied vagina and thighs. It had simulated pubic hair. It's modeled after a porn star named Kobe Tai, she said. What do you think? Mike shrugged. I think it's a bit weird, but I'm willing to try for you. Okay, get this blindfold on. She handed it over. Mike tied on the blindfold. Hildy fetched some of her other toys. She arranged them on the head of her bed and began to take off Mike's clothes. Her bones didn't disturb him anymore when she touched him intimately. She sang softly to him in some ancient tongue, caressing him with a silk scarf. Mike fulfilled his promise to Easter, clutching Hildy's ribs as he called out his offering to the goddess. I like how you gripped me, she said. No pretending that you were with anybody else. Mike nodded, still blindfolded. Do you like my toys? She asked. Honestly, no, but did you like doing this? I did, but I am happy just being your dream girl. Mike found her hand. I'm sorry. I need real flesh, a warm body, a pulse, lips, breasts, he said. It's all right. You're only human. It's enough to know that you really love me in your way, Hildy soothed. Mike still felt pretty great. He kissed her orbital ridge and then dressed. He left the blindfold in Hildy's hand. Finally, he checked his phone. He had been sent a photo of Betako naked, sprawled atop a furry rug. The fur looked familiar. Wish you were here, read the caption. Mike's vision went black with loathing. His phone fell from his nerveless hand. Hildy asked him what was wrong, and all Mike could say was Tess before he lost all coherency and crawled inside himself. He fell to his knees and leaned against Hildy's bookshelf. She began shouting for help and gently slapping him. Lilia was the first at Hildy's side. Hildy handed her the phone, and then she screamed in wordless anguish and hate. Mike finally came back to reality as it seemed everyone was forcing their way into Hildy's bedroom. Lilia was on the floor clinging to him, wailing for what had been done to their friend. And then Mike screamed, but his scream only held hate. Pain would have to come later, and of course, the guilt. After all, hadn't he abandoned her body to that indignity? One cannot fault a monster for behaving as a monster. But he was in such a fucking hurry to crawl back home to mommy. No matter. First, vengeance. He became aware that someone was shushing and petting him. He realized he had been screaming so long his throat hurt. He swallowed, and he asked for water. He held Lilia, who was still weeping. His screams must have nearly deafened her, the poor Rusalka. Betty turned our Sasquatch friend into a rug. It is beyond personal now. She must die, Mike croaked. He hoped his voice would recover. Shizu passed a glass to Kurama, who pressed it to his lips. He drank slowly, and then took the glass. He offered it to Lilia. I thank you for water. May you never thirst, she recited, and sipped. I offer you water. May our nest grow full, she said. Thank you. Never thirst, he replied. It felt right to say it. All that groks is God, she said, and she drank deeply of the water. She pressed Mike to finish the glass. During this ritual, no one else said a word. Tessa would want an end to the fighting, Lilia said. I intend to end it, Mike assured her. Not what I meant. I mean, she would not want you to kill in anger for fear of losing yourself to hate. Mike did not want to hear that. Tessa was gentle and sweet. She is nobody's rug, he yelled. Mike, listen to me, Malchik, Lily insisted. You are a soldier, not a murderer. She took his hands, and she kissed his fingertips, one by one, like Kurama had done so many times. Remember who you are. Do not become who they want you to be, she insisted. That's well and good, Lili, but he does have to kill Bosaburo tomorrow, Kurama said. Had time really passed so quickly? Mike's mind reeled. Time was an odd thing. If he ever met Kronos, he'd flip him off. Right, the duel, Mike said. Afterward, the retribution. Their lands and tributes in the final treaty. Kurama pulled Mike's hands away from Lilia, and she kissed his fingertips. Then the king of Tengu, Mike Marshall, she said. Okay, crisis over. Everybody out of my room, Hildy ordered. Mike decided not to delete the photo. It would keep his hatred strong. He pocketed his phone and moved to leave with the others. Hildy stopped him. May I present a third option? She offered. Please do, Mike replied. Do not give in to hate and murder Betako and her whole household. Neither make her whole people suffer under oppression. Instead, mutual prosperity and benefit. Fight the duel. I see no way out of that. But let that bury the hatchet. Demand that it be the end of all hostilities between Tanuki and Tengu. Leave the borders to remain as they are, and insist upon mutual protection among the Tengu courts, the Kitsune League, and the Tanuki Federation in the treaty. Everyone wins. You become king with unanimous approval, Hildy said. He much preferred this path. You inspire me, Ashtarte, Mike said, and kissed her forehead. I like hearing you use my old name, but I have always been Hildy to you, and I want that to remain, she said, and she made a kissing noise. By the way, are you sure you want to have Bruce Leroy as your best man? Well, not really. That was just a giggle, Mike admitted. Who I really want is Chips Ravenholm from these books that I love. They're cheesy, but I love 'em anyway. And Chips is my favorite character. Hildy nodded. Chips Ravenholm it is. Who should officiate? I get to pick? He asked. Yes, she replied. He pondered this. I want Danny DeVito. DeVito? Yep, him or Gilbert Gottfried. Danny DeVito it is. And I want him to be irreverent and rude. Mike chuckled. We're here to witness this walking nightmare tying the knot to this long-haired weirdo for the few measly years until he croaks. Hildy laughed at this. Okay, love, I'll make it happen. He squeezed her gratefully, then went to his bedroom to get ready for dinner. Maymay and Shizu were in his room. Master, I have been arguing all day with your big sister. Please explain to her that as your servant, I wash your body and your laundry. I clean your room, and I warm your bed as needed. Well, Shizu, you aren't specifically my servant. Truly, you're Kurama's servant, Mike explained. She ordered me to be your maid, my lord. She did this after the first time you had me, Shizu professed. Had you do what? Demanded Maymay. I meant sex, Maymay, Shizu explained. But I'm your big sister. I give it to you every time you want it, and I'll clean up from now on, Maymay insisted. No, Mike said. I have a maid already. My big sister is a warrior. She is not a maid. Your job is to defend me. Maymay beamed with pride. Little brother is right, of course. As for sex, I have 5 girlfriends. Neither of you is allowed to get possessive. Also, my girlfriend's girlfriend, Mike added. Don't ask, it's complicated. And then he pointed at Maymay, and then his door. He pointed at Shizu and his bathroom, and disrobed for another shower. Shizu happily stripped, and Maymay frowned, but she left his bedroom. Shizu asked, Just cleaning, my lord? Maybe some touchy-touchy? Mike sighed. Yes, touchy. Yes, kissy. No, nothing more. I feel a bit miserable and I need a cleanse. I'm good at cleanse. What's that mean exactly? She asked. I want to feel happy, Mike explained. I can do that. Right this way, my lord. Shizu gestured to his shower and smiled at him in human form. She was cute, in a plain way. She preceded him into the bathroom and readied her washcloth. She took her place behind him and he turned on the water. She saw to it that he was very clean and very loved up. It relaxed him to be touched by the small woman, to be chirped at and kissed, and she kept talking about how serving him made her happy. It was a good feeling. He thanked her and gave her a kiss. That kiss means bed, Shizu declared. Not this time, my dear, Mike replied. It's Lilia's turn tonight. Shizu pouted. But you're hard right now and I'm here. I meant what I said. Mike began drying off, but Shizu gently took the towel away and she dried him, humming sweetly. Mike dressed for dinner. and took his place at the table, seating each of his housemates as they arrived. Hildy joined them at the table that night. Mike requested permission to speak. Kurama gestured for him to proceed. After I kill Bosaburo, and I will demand that the duel be the end to all hostilities with the Tanuki Federation. I plan for a mutually beneficial future of cooperation. If we are their friends, harming us becomes unthinkable. Lilia bit off a protest, stopping to think about his plan. Like you had led Betako to believe before, she said finally. Right, but no treachery this time, Mike agreed. Kurama began eating while she gave this plan consideration. The others began to eat as well, excepting Hildy, who sat silently watching them. Meme was content to leave planning to cooler heads. Fushin said, maybe they're ready to have it end, especially now that their Nezumi allies are all spectacularly dead. Lilia nodded at that. Right. The picture was sent days ago. They looked at Kurama, who looked at Whisper before speaking. Whisper has informed me that her spies have learned that Betsuko is terrified of our retaliation. I endorse this plan. Diplomacy from a position of strength. Whisper ate silently. Mike nodded. Kurama then began talking about the song Insecurity by Stacy Q. I really latched on to this song since you introduced me to the singer, she explained. I've been practicing recreating the keyboard part of the chorus on the koto. Mike could see the plucked instrument doing nicely. He nodded her his appreciation. Stacy Q's the Two of Hearts lady, right? Meme asked. Can I love you any more, you wonderful huge nerd? Mike asked, and Meme blushed. I just like that keyboard music, she said, miming playing a piano. And you like the same movies I do? Right, Love Panda? After you took me to Pleasure Town, Meme replied and laughed. Kurama smiled. Mike took me there, too. We did it on a glorious rainbow, she said, and Mike looked at her. I like Will Ferrell, what can I say? Kurama replied. Mike kept looking at her. It keeps raining. I hate it, he said expectantly. It can't rain all the time, she replied. The crow. I know why Jesus wept, motherfucker, Mike replied. The comic version. Kurama smiled. James O'Barr put so much of his anger and pain into that comic. Mike's eyes began to drip. Of course you've read it. You groomed me. Kurama nodded. Unlike most Japanese, I love American comic books. I'm a bit hardcore, she explained. Mike nodded and wiped at his eyes. The others were a bit lost, except for Meme, who had seen The Crow the movie but hadn't read the comic. Mother is the name of God in the lips and hearts of all children, Meme said. Okay, Meme is my concubine now. It's official, Mike said. Meme clapped. Yay, I'm official! Shizu looked away, but her crow face was inscrutable. Lilia looked down, suddenly intent on her food. Mike's smile faded as he felt that he had made a mistake. He couldn't take it back. So he finished his meal, and then Lilia broke her silence. I get first bath, she said. Agreed. Brace yourself, Mike, Kurama replied. Mike looked at Lilia and gave her a smile. She blinked and then nodded. He relaxed. Mike excused himself. Shizu was sitting on her bed, still in Tengu form, and looking down. It's your choice, of course, but I thought you'd pick me, she whispered. Mike shut his door and delicately put her arms around the Tengu maid. You are first, concubine, he said. I choose you, just like you requested. She took human shape and wrapped her arms around him. Thank you, she whispered. I didn't want to get an arranged marriage. I'll be happy as your concubine, I promise. She kissed his neck, stretching to reach. Mike stripped and put on his terry cloth bathrobe. I have my duties, he said. Master, how do you feel about me? Am I a good servant? Shizu asked. He knew that she meant more than her service. I like you very much, Shizu. I'm happy with you, he said, hoping that it would be enough. He wasn't certain how deep his feelings for her went, or for Mei Mei if he was being honest. Shizu cawed happily and resumed Tengu form. There will be a present in your laundry, master. Find it with your underwear, she said, and poofed away. One of her feathers lay atop his blanket. He picked it up and set it down beside his desk lamp, smiling. Clearly, this feather was not the gift. What would it be? He went to the main bathroom, still smiling, and Mei Mei grinned at him. Gonna have a good time tonight. Gonna have a good time tonight, she sang. Mike pointed at her and clicked his tongue. He waited, but then began to fill the tub with cold water. He decided to play his Stacy Cube collection on shuffle, and he sang along. Lilia crept behind him and closed the door with her butt. He saw that she was wearing a flannel bathrobe. She smiled shyly. It's going to happen, right? You trust me? Mike replied by untying his robe. Lilia pulled it down, her breath catching. Touch me like a man touches a woman he loves, she said. Her voice was thick with emotion. Mike slid her robe to the floor, tracing his hands down her cold body. She was wearing a chemise beneath the robe. It was erotic, the naturist, wearing clothes for her love. Mike turned off the water and he faced Lilia to caress her back, her face, and then he hesitated. Go ahead, Mike. Kopafilski, she said, thrusting her bosom toward him. He held her, feeling her heartbeat, feeling her skin warm to his touch. Her breath was rapid, but deep. Touch me, she pleaded. Mike wrapped his arms around the Rusalka. To love a Rusalka was death. Every story said so. He caressed her, feeling her grow warmer and warmer. She kissed his chest and slowly pushed him back. She breathed so heavily it was as if she was out of breath. Do you trust me? Say it, she demanded. I trust you, Lily. I trust you, Devachka, he promised. Lilia reached for her shoulder straps and slowly slid down her garment, revealing the body that he had seen so often and had tried not to think about. She was voluptuous and proportionate, symmetrical. She swallowed. I love you, Mikhail. My cold heart burns and you are my fire, she said. She stepped into the water, looking down at her bosom. It did not change. She wept for joy and held out her arms to him. Mike joined her in the water of life. They grokked each other in fullness. Lilia was warm in spite of the cold water, and Mike was warmed to her touch. The rapture on her face told Mike all he would need to know. Her love was true and wholly his. She slowly cooled and pulled his lips to her own. Kiss me, Mike. It will be forever safe. The curse cannot harm my Mikhail. Her lips brushing his as she spoke, and he kissed her. right as the cold reasserted itself and its influences over his body. But again and again he kissed at her, tasted her, touched her. His inner voice rejoiced. I knew she could love me, it proclaimed. I always knew. She sat on his lap, kissing him and swearing her undying love in equal measure, until a knock interrupted her. Other people need to use the bath too, you know. Don't drain the tub. I need this done quickly, Fushin called out. Lilia giggled, embarrassed, and climbed out for Mike to dry her off. She dressed again, looking at Mike with a hunger. More tonight? She asked. I want to show you so much. If I can, he promised. Lilia gave him another kiss. Malchik, do you still love me? She asked. Do you still love me? He asked. She smiled. Never doubt it. And she opened the door. Fushin pushed past, wearing her tiger-striped robe. She looked at the Rusalka's retreating form and then looked at Mike's penis. She closed the door. Well, 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 she said. Mike smiled and reached for her. She grinned and allowed him to disrobe her. Fushin drummed on his chest, which warmed his whole body. Only washing tonight. I have to do a storm over Pago Pago, she said, but she crushed him in an embrace, kissed him fiercely. A reminder who your goddess is, she said, and then handed him the scrub brush. He got to work, scrubbing Fushin quickly. After blow-drying, the storm goddess tapped his heart. Keep me on your dance card, Marshal. We still haven't christened your bed, nor have we properly danced, she said, and she shrugged into her robe. Have a good night at work, Mike said. She blew him a tusky kiss before leaving. Then Mike drained the water. Hildy entered next and stopped the drain. We can use this water, she said sweetly. I kinda want it. Want what? Mike asked. Water with your love in it, of course. I could hear her, though she tried to keep quiet. Mike gently untied and removed the fluffy pink robe, kissing her shoulder bones. Mike powdered and scrubbed her as Hildy giggled. And as always, she pretended the brush tickled. He couldn't stop smiling. She reached to tickle his belly, and then she drained the water as Mike dried her bones using her special towel. I believe in you. You'll win, Hildy said, and she gave him an air kiss. After her, Kurama and Whisper both entered, and they were both wearing each other's colors. Did Fushin leave enough for us? Whisper asked. No loving for her tonight, Mike replied, smiling. But look how he smiles, the human form butterfly sighed. That means that he and Lily... She trailed off. Kurama nodded. Took so long, too, Kurama said. Do you have a little for us at least? Mike nodded. They did not fill the tub until after they had finished making love, and then they used bath salts and fragrant oil. Do you still love me? Mike asked. Yes, Mike, I love you, Kurama said. I love you too, Whisper sighed. I love to stay connected to you as long as I can. Keep you inside me. She kissed him fiercely, a very unwhisper kiss. Her small breasts tickled his chest. Her silky pink hair tickled him too. Tub's full, Kurama announced and pulled Mike away from Whisper, who let out a small whine at being separated him before she wanted. The three of them washed each other in the bathtub. Mike had never known that this was the dream of his whole life until that moment, soaping Kurama's back as she shampooed Whispers and kissed her neck as she did. He had everything he could ever want. Now he just had to send the other Mike home and earn his own happy ending. The song Love or Desire played. He loved this music. He loved these women. He loved this life. He had no need of heaven. If his family wouldn't be there, he didn't want to go. He would just reincarnate to find them all over again, and Tessa too, so that he could be a true friend to her. That night he kissed Maymay goodnight and slept in Lilia's bed. His heat and her cold made for a very comfortable night's sleep under her comforter. He dreamed of Freddy Krueger chasing him, but he was not scared at all. He knew who was behind the striped sweater. He woke, still feeling happy. Mike woke up beside Lilia. She was pleasantly cool to his touch. He realized he was naked. Had they made love again in the night? He hated to think he might have missed it. He cuddled with her, caressing her arm and inhaling her scent. There was almost no scent, or maybe his scent upon her that he detected. He couldn't be sure. Lilia was clean, utterly clean. She rolled over, yawning and wrapping a leg around him. I love you, Devotchka, he said. Mm, I don't want to share. Want Michael all for me, and sometimes me and Echo, she said sleepily. She blinked. Hi, Malchik. Is this a dream? Never wake me up. He gave her a kiss. Real as anything, he said. You mean we really made love in the water? The cold water? She asked. We did. It was wonderful. I was good then? It's been so long, I worried I'd forgotten what to do with a man, she said with a laugh. Not like it's ever difficult, right? Penises are simple creatures. Making him happy isn't hard. Making my heart happy is not so easy. And it's a good thing you're gorgeous. Lilia touched his face. Still can't believe it's real. How did you convince me it was safe to love you? I didn't. The rats were the catalyst. She nodded. I had to make them pay for threatening my man. My man. I have to tell Echo. She rolled over and groped around for her phone. Mike helped look. She called her girlfriend, holding Mike's hand while she waited for the flower nymph to pick up. She smiled at Mike and then spoke. Hi, baby. It happened. Me and Mike, I mean. Is it okay? Mike heard Echo whoop. Yes, he's okay with sharing me with you and being with you also. She handed the phone over. She wants to talk to you. Mike held the phone to his ear. Hi, Echo. Sorry if you wanted to be here for the first time, he said. Lover boy. Don't. Don't mind at all. Are you in bed with Lily right now? She asked cheerfully. Yeah. Kiss her for me. Then touch her nipple with your thumb and press on it. Echo instructed him to make love to Lilia, telling him to put the phone on speaker and directing his actions. Echo made love to Lilia by proxy, so his penis never entered the equation, so to speak. And then Echo cheered. I like this. Like my girlfriend's boyfriend. I like my girlfriend's girlfriend, Mike said. Oh, you'll love me too one day. We're a forever thing, I promise, Echo promised. Send me a pic of you together. I want it for my wallpaper, so cover up. Mike and Lilia pulled the covers up and lay on their backs, smiling up at the phone. Click. Lilia was flushed and radiant. Mike had to admit that happiness was a good look for him. Echo loved the picture. Then we'll get one of us three. You got it, Mike promised. It was time to prepare. Lilia offered to finish him off, but he declined. I need to meditate and focus, he explained. Bullshit. You want to fuck the princess, Lilia retorted. Maybe I do. I kinda hope she's broody so we can have kids in case I don't make it, he admitted. Lilia nodded. I know you better than anybody, Malchik. He pulled on his robe and invited himself into Kurama's room. She and Whisper were in bed together. This time, he had the time to make love to them both, and they wanted him. This was worth killing for, worth dying for, worth going to hell for. Amen. Laying in the middle of a love sandwich, Mike sighed. This was paradise. Kurama's nose caressed his back. Whisper kissed and tasted his sweat. Butterflies. Butterflies and crows, nightmares and storm goddesses and water spirits and nymphs and pandas, oh my. Mike, I feel it, Kurama said. Feel what? He asked between kisses from Whisper. My eggs. I'm going to lay quickened eggs soon. You're going to be a daddy. Mike broke into tears, gave Whisper one last kiss, and rolled over to face Kurama. Are you certain? He asked. There can be no mistake. I've been a mother before, she assured him. Right, Benjo and Eiko and Ritsuko. She laughed. Those can be your children's names if you want, but you just made them up. I honestly thought that you had told me those were your children's names. Mike, I've had 17 children and none of them were named those names. Huh, where had those names come from? Whisper kissed his back. Want to make me pregnant next? She asked. How does that work for you? Mike looked over his shoulder at Whisper. Well, like her, I get fertile, then we have sex, then I lay eggs, then butterflies. Mike grinned. Why would I say no? He asked. Well, you're getting married to her, not to me, Whisper replied. Mike, you may give my maid children, Kurama said graciously. Thank you, princess, Whisper said, and then she climbed over Mike to kiss her princess. Mike disentangled himself to shower. Mei was in panda form, asleep on his floor. He stepped carefully, wanting to avoid the sleep-inducing embrace of his concubine. He climbed into the shower and jumped when Shizu poofed behind him. Good morning, my lord. Shizu is ready to scrub you clean, she declared, and took his soap out of his hand. Well, he thought he'd been sneaky. After the shower, Shizu insisted on a massage to prepare him for his duel. Mei woke up during the massage and she wanted to help, but her big hands and Shizu's small hands did not make for a good tandem. Mei, next time you can massage me. For now, can you ask Chef Eiji for some fruit and cottage cheese? Yes, my love, fruit and cottage cheese. The Chinese woman had never moved so fast before. As for his Japanese concubine, she kissed his neck. We don't have time before she comes back, but perhaps you want both of us together? Large and small, eh? She asked. No, Shizu. I already made love to Kurama and Whisper. Kurama will lay her eggs in the next while. Congratulations, my lord! Shizu clapped and then adjusted her robe as she sat on his back, and he felt lace tickling his skin. I learned that you like lace, my lord, she said. Did you find my present? It's something nice for your collection. Oh, his collection. I hadn't looked in my underwear drawer yet, he admitted. Well, I saw Mei's panties in there, and folded them as neatly as I could, so I thought you'd like a pair of mine, too. Thanks, I'm really not interested in that kind of thing, he said. Don't be embarrassed. Lots of men have trophies of one kind or another. I made sure to wear them first, so they're special. Mei came back in. Chef Ag says he has peaches, mandarin oranges, and pineapples. I told him you wanted all of those. Did I do right? The mountain woman asked. Yes, thank you. So before breakfast, do you want to? I'm not sore anymore, I promise, Mei said hopefully. Thank you, but no. Tonight, please. I want you tonight, Mike said. How could he possibly keep up? Me too, my lord? Shizu asked, smiling at Mei. The panda scowled. Mike, won't we be scared of crushing the little bird? She asked. You two need to make peace. I will not have my concubines fighting, Mike said. She's the only one fighting. The panda thinks she owns you, Shizu said, climbing off of him. That's not true. The crow lies. I just think I'm the best for taking care of your needs, Mei protested. Mei, Mike called out, and then he rolled to his feet. You do act possessively, and I am not your property. I'm your friend. If I say I want you both, you don't have to accept it, but you will accept that I want you, or her, or Kurama, or Whisper, Fushin, Hildy, Lilia, sometimes Lilia's girlfriend Echo. He ran out of breath just saying it. Mei bowed. As my lord wishes. Don't start that. It's bad enough I get it from her, but you're my big sister, damn it. Never my lord me, Mike yelled, and Mei blushed. But Mike, I'm your concubine now, she said softly. You are always Mei. I'm always Mike, he insisted. Mei nodded. Say it, Mike urged. You were always Mike, she agreed. He nodded and put on his clothes, feeling foolish yelling at a panda while stark naked. Mei said, It's nice to be your first concubine, Mike, but please don't ask me to be in the same bed as her. I can't bear it. Mike hugged her. I won't, he promised. We need to talk some more, Mei, Shizu said. Okay, Mei said sadly. Mike left them to eat his light breakfast. Susa and Eiji were standing on the table in their Tengu forms, watching him eat the fruit and the cottage cheese. Susa croaked, and then he said, The princess tells me she will lay eggs soon, and that you will deny the uncles the right to raise them. Mike nodded at this. They are my children, and I will be the king. They will be mine to raise. Mike. Both of us have been uncles in the past, Eiji said. It is the only joy Bachelor Tengu have. We love children too, but if we can't have our own, being an uncle is a vital part of our culture and our social structure. So few eggs hatch anymore. We implore you to reconsider. Mike had only thought of himself. He swallowed. I will consider. Please inform the uncles that I am thinking seriously about it. They both bowed low, their beaks clicking on the table. He finished his light meal quickly. It wasn't selfish to want to raise his own children, was it? But what about the uncles? Didn't they deserve that happiness? He could keep any babies Mei had, but that would mean having more sex with her. Sylvia had promised that a cow would happily bear his children, or a cat, and even though Whisper hadn't said anything, he was sure he wouldn't be expected to have any parental rights as far as butterflies were concerned. Fushin would have to send her children away, and who was he to disrupt their cultures? Mei wasn't so bad, and Lilia was not technically human anymore, so he was sure she couldn't even have children, and nymphs were the kind of immortal that could have children, but would Echo want his children? He stared at his dim reflection on the polished table after Eiji carried away his plate, made his choice. Sensei, the uncles will raise my children, but they will be told who their parents are. I will make it so, Susa replied and bowed again. Mike went to tell Kurama. She was half dressed and Whisper was combing her princess's hair. I decided to let the uncles raise our children, Mike said, closing the door. Nice bra, he added, admiring the black lace. I decided to start wearing them again. Someone is making them necessary, she said, cupping her small bosom in her hands. See, they're growing. Mike smiled. I also insisted that our children be raised knowing who they are and who their parents are, he said. A compromise, I see, Whisper whispered. Want to see my bra? She asked. Hers was white satin. Mike whistled appreciatively. He watched them finish dressing into formal kimonos. Mike, please put on your gi, Kurama asked. Right, the white belt. He nodded and walked quickly to his room to change. Mei was wearing a sleeveless kung fu style gi. Her belt sash was red. Does that mean something? He asked, pointing. It means I'm a panda who likes red sashes, she joked. She helped him dress and to tie his belt.